This is Winnipeg Sports Talk Daily with Andrew Hustler Paterson and Michael Remis.
Hey, what's going on, everyone? Welcome to Winnipeg Sports Talk Daily. Huss and Remo with you today. We've got lots to get to. Record-breaking deal for Macklin Celebrini in the National Hockey League. We'll dive into that right away. Brandon Rewucki is going to jump on with us first up today. And then really looking forward to chatting with the big man himself, Doug Brown, Bomber legend, and of course part of the CJOB, Winnipeg Blue Bomber broadcast team. Doug's on the road today, so we're going to lob him a phone call around 2 o'clock and get Doug in and get his thoughts on this upcoming game tomorrow night against the British Columbia Lions, as well as what needs to improve in all facets of the game after the 50 burger from the Calgary Stampeders last Friday night. Lots going on. We were just talking about what a big sports weekend this is. The Goldeyes are back on Friday. That is the alternate identity night, the Manitoba Mosquitoes. So Andrew Collier is going to jump on, fill us in on what's coming up this weekend, and really a full week-long homestand with the Fish playing every day with the exception of the holiday Monday. So we will get to that, and then Pat Gregoire is going to join me as well. Got to talk the Rocket Classic teeing off on the PGA Tour. We'll make a few picks on that, as well as hit the lines for Cool Bet. And, of course, we've got horse picks as well. Another big night at Assiniboia Downs coming up. So it's all coming up. Great to have you all with us here on the program today. Just before we bring in Michael Remis, do want to thank our friends at Princess Auto, Cool Bet Canada, all our great sponsors, Chud's Power Sports, Clean Line, Plumbing, Heating, and Electrical, Manitoba Battery, Aikens Lake, Breezy Bend, Boston Pizza, Royal Sports, Little Brown Jug, Travel Manitoba, the Winnipeg Goldeyes, Assiniboia Downs, Rowley's Transfer, St. Vital Dental Center. Got to give a shout out to my guy Roberto, the Santa Lucia on Main Street, grand opening next weekend. We're going to be doing some fun stuff with them ahead of that. And of course, we will also get to a why not question of the day for Not Autocorp at Waverly and McGillivray. Shout out to all you podcast listeners. And what is up, everybody in the chat? And what's up to you, Michael Remis? What's up?
Yeah, I'm counting down to tomorrow. Big game. Bombers trying to get back in the win column at home against BC Lions. And just like, I don't know, looking at this Celebrini contract, and your eyes are going wide as a record AAV. So exciting time, staying cool here, Huss. But as you said, busy sports weekend with the Bombers, Goldeyes, Sea Bears, Manitoba Derby, lots to take in.
No doubt about that. We can tell you that this heat warning is still very much in effect. We're looking at a high today of 35 degrees. Just pulled up the old... it's not called Environment Canada anymore, is it? What's it called? Something in climate change?
Actually, I have no idea. I thought it's Environment Canada. I go to weather.ca. There's Environment Canada here. We got a yellow warning for heat.
I think they changed the name of Environment Canada to now something and climate change. But there you go. Humidex right now, 42 degrees.
Oh.
And it is going to be getting steamy this afternoon. So, yeah, crank the AC. I see T. Will is at work right now joining us on YouTube and said that it's freezing in his office and he's actually having to put a sweater on right now. I'll tell you what, that's better than being outside. Although, I mean, I would like to be outside, just not working or doing a show. And listen, this is a good time just to shout out the guys that are grinding right now. And I know there's many that throw the podcast on as they're, doing landscaping or building stuff or roofing. I mean, those people right now are definitely earning the paycheck. So shout out to all of them. But speaking of paychecks, Remis, Macklin Celebrini's paycheck just exploded. He extends with the San Jose Sharks on a 5-year extension at $18.8 million. Another new high water mark for NHL contracts, and I don't think any of us should be surprised that Macklin Celebrini, who I would say is already one of the top 5 players in the National Hockey League, has reset the market with a new deal.
Yeah, he's only 20 years old and already one of the top players in the NHL. It's going to kick in next July 1. So they still on his ELC for this season, but next year going up to be what is now the highest AAV in the league, passing Leo Carlson's $18 million. And Hussey's going to become a UFA at age 26. So I imagine he's setting himself up pretty well for the next contract, assuming his career continues on this trajectory. And good for him, Huss. And the Sharks, I mean, they're going to have to start winning, I think, sooner than later. They almost dragged them into the playoffs. What is he, like 4th in Hart Trophy voting? So he's certainly worth it. And if you look at, percentage of the cap, it's only, 16.6% next year. That's like 1% over Crosby's $8.7 million. In 2008, that was 15.34, or McDavid's $12.5 million in 2018, 15.72. So the cap's going up, his player salaries going up, and Celebrini now, well, he's got the highest AAV for next season in the NHL.
The one thing I think people are missing about this negotiation, though, is the term. And, it is interesting that, the SID number in 2008 was like 15.3%. 2018 for McDavid, or was it eight? I think it was 2018 for McDavid.
Yeah, 2018, correct.
That one was 15.7 and the 12.5 million. So, I mean, you're in the neighborhood, you're in the ballpark with the 16.6. What the Sharks didn't get that the Oilers and Penguins did was a max term on the deal. Like, the crazy thing about this is that Celebrini will be, for a while, the highest paid player in the league. I guess this does kick in on July 1st. There is the potential that somebody else signs a deal that's more than that for next year. But he's got those years, locked in. But what San Jose didn't get that the Oilers and Penguins did was they bought up some UFA years. Like, this deal takes Macklin Celebrini right to unrestricted free agency at the end of this deal, and he'll be 26 years old. So while maybe they said, listen, we'll give you the max, but that means it's max term. I'm not sure how the negotiations went, but I mean, listen, Celebrini's going to be very well, and I would argue fairly compensated for what he's doing on the ice right now. He's one of the best players in the National Hockey League. But I do think now, especially with these young players, and maybe this is all sort of fallout from the Carlson deal, is that they already know they're getting generational money. Like we always say, it's sort of tough to walk away from all that money on the table. Well, the money you're getting for 5 years is going to set you up for life. So it doesn't seem like these young players are feeling the need, or the teams maybe that are the want, and the teams aren't able to negotiate those extra years. So we're having like this new level of young stud player that's going to be re-upping another contract far earlier than the Crosbys or McDavids have in the past 20 years.
Yeah, $94 million, the total value of the contract for a player, Huss, in his second season, 115 points in 82 games. I mean, he's part of Canada's Olympic team. This is an elite player, and you are seeing that shift right now in the NHL, where it used to be when you were an RFA, you didn't have any negotiation rights. They would say, hey, you haven't done anything yet, you have to earn it. And by the time you've earned it, you're already 29 and on your decline the first time you can become a free agent. And, players are hitting their primes earlier, like 23 to 25-ish, and they want to get paid for that. They don't want to become a UFA for the first time and then be on the decline. So credit to him for getting the money. It's going to be up to the Sharks now to put a winning team around him. And if you look at the analytics from Dom in The Athletic, he says this is a value deal for Celebrini, that he's going to be worth near the end of this contract $20.2 million, $22.2, $23.1, $22.5 for the last 4 seasons. So, the numbers are a bit bigger, but the cap is going up, and the percentage is kind of what it's been for that star player. So I think this is actually going to be a pretty good deal when it's all said and done for the Sharks. But you mentioned only the 5 years. I mean, could he walk? Could he go sign with another team? I'm sure they're going to do everything they can to keep him. Again, we saw it this year where we said, hey, look at all these great players who are going to be UFAs. This could be a crazy UFA class. Well, they all signed extensions before they hit free agency. So I imagine the Sharks would give him some other whopper of a contract before this one runs out.
Oh, listen, I mean, if you have one of the best players in the world, you have to keep him, and you'll do whatever it takes. In the CBA, I mean, you can only pay a player 20. Like, what is the number? What's the max contract right now?
20% of the cap. Is it like 20% of the cap? Let me just. I got to double check that.
Just
offhand
what those numbers are, but I mean, we're probably looking at 20. The cap's over 100 million next year. What's that number?
Yes. I gotta double check all these. Hold on. Sorry.
Look it up. Don't get got by
104 million for 26, 27.
So 104 million, basically. So it's 20.75.
Yeah.
That's the max contract that he could have signed right now. So it's 2 million less than that. They don't have to worry about offer sheeting or anything like that. And here's the thing, though, and this is why I think they did a good job. And even if they had to hold their nose and buy no UFA years, Celebrini is such a talent, Reem, that if they took this to next year, like the Ducks did with Leo Carlsson, is there any doubt that half the league that had their next 4 first-round picks would be more than willing to give Celebrini a max contract and San Jose the compensation for it? I think pretty much everyone would be signing up for that.
Yeah, I would think so. I mean, the compensation for first-round picks, you take that every day for that kind of player. So you would offer that up any day. So I think that's good that you're seeing teams utilize the offer sheet because we hadn't, and that's a way to get players. But for the Sharks, yeah, they had to protect themselves, do what they can. They have elite franchise player here. We'll see how it pays off with the rest of their roster building. Maybe some concerns about, Nurse and Trouba on defense. I mean, those guys are making some big money here for a number of seasons, but they've got some really nice young players coming up, like Michael Remis still on an ELC, Will Smith entering the final year of his ELC, and Sam Dickinson as well. So the Sharks are very well positioned, and we'll see if Celebrini can take them back into the playoffs and even win a couple rounds.
Well, don't forget about Stenberg. I mean, Ivar Stenberg, second overall pick in the draft this year, too. Like, oh, yeah, they won the lottery and moved all the way up to number 2. Listen, there's a lot of riches. But, I mean, this was the year we talked a lot about their blue line and how they basically had nobody signed for this year. Well, they do now, but it cost them a pretty penny. Darnell Nurse, now on the books for $9.25. They took the entire contract from the Edmonton Oilers. So he's a Shark. And Jacob Trouba got $8.25. So you've got $17.5 million tied up in Trouba and Nurse, and now $18.8 in Celebrini. But you know what? You can do that right now because Ivar Stenberg's on a 3-year ELC. He's making $1 million for the next 3 years. Michael Misa has 2 more years at $986. Will Smith 1 more year and then is an RFA. They have the $7.5 million in cap space right now. Logan Couture's $8 million will come off the books next year. Barclay Goodrow's 3.6 comes off the books next year. Adam Gaudette, $2 million off the books next year. So they're looking to get about 13 or so million in cap space. And Dmitry Orlov's 35. He's making 6.5. He'll be a UFA at the end of this year. But at a certain point, they're going to be in a tight situation. But let's face it, your priority is your superstar. Celebrini's done, and then they'll figure out if they can manage to pay first Will Smith, then Michael Misa, then Ivar Stenberg. They're going to have a top 5 pick to re-up every single year for the next 3 years, while the Celebrini numbers is stays put.
Yeah, this rebuild, I think they've gone pretty well, especially when they lucked out with that pick this year, getting Ivar Stenberg moving up, and after having a number of top picks in Celebrini and Will Smith, and they've got a nice core there, and I'm curious if they can get back into the playoffs. Sure, everyone is going to be high on the Sharks. They fell just short last year, but is this finally the year we have playoff hockey in the Shark Tank?
You know, looking at this and what the Sharks have coming for them, I hate to do this, but I have to give credit where credit is due to the Montreal Canadiens for the way that they've set up their team for the next number of years as this cap has exploded. I mean, you want to talk about getting in ahead of things. Nick Suzuki, Cole Caulfield, Slavkovsky, all signed. Suzuki's got 4 more years at under $8 million. Caulfield has 5 more years at under 8. Slavkovsky has 6 or 7 more years. Yeah, 7 more years at 7.6. They just got Demidov done at 9.1. And then you look at their blue line. Lane Hudson signed for 8 years at 8.85, 9.5 for Noah Dobson. I mean, Caden Gooley's 5.5. It's kind of crazy, Rumo, with the way that everything has transpired, that you look at what Kent Hughes has done, and it's hard to argue that they don't have the best group of young players in the league signed as a group to the most team-friendly contracts with the way the cap is projected to rise over the next few years.
Yeah, The Athletic just put out their NHL contract efficiency rankings. Montreal ranked number 2, according to them, with the numbers you said. The team above them, the Stanley Cup champion Carolina Hurricanes, who've got Blake at 5.1, Jarvis 7.4, Aho 9.8, Stankoven 6.0. And Svechnikov as well, 7.8. So they've got some really strong players. They just won the Cup. But I agree with you. I think in a couple years, especially when, Demidov takes another step forward after his rookie season, Slavkovsky, you saw him in the playoffs as well, Lane Hudson. I mean, they don't have anyone over 10 million. And, 15 million now is becoming the standard here for top players.
Yeah. Where did the Jets finish in that list?
Not great, Huss. Scrolling down. The Jets are 21st in the league. They've got some nice values up top. Velarde, Morrissey, Scheifele, Perfetti, but they've got some guys.
Hellebuck
as well up there too. Those are all B values. Morrissey's an A, but they've got some guys making some money. They have Pionk, Skinner, Lowry, Connor as guys with some negative value.
Stuart Skinner?
They have it at where the Jets are paying him 3.8 AV. They have the model value as 1.7. That was a small one. I'm just saying according to their model.
Yeah, I'm just surprised, like with what goalies. I mean, the rate. I guess the model probably compares to what they consider replacement level guys, and what he's done.
I guess maybe it could be compared to like a backup for a backup goalie. I didn't read the whole article.
That might be it. I would have thought the Jets would have been higher. I mean, obviously Morrissey at 6.25 is one of the best bargains in the league. But I mean, Mark Scheifele had over 100 points last year, 8.5 million, and he's got 5 more years. And I mean, the Hellebuck deal, and this is part of the reason why I think a trade for Hellebuck has been so difficult, is that, you know, he has, in my opinion, one of the best contracts in the National Hockey League, based on what he's done. I mean, you know, individually, we talked about the Vezinas and the Hart Trophy. I mean, when Bob was making 10, when Shesterkin's pushing 12, Hellebuck at 8.5, and for 5 more years, I mean, to me, should be a heck of a lot more. So I was a little surprised the Jets didn't last or were a little bit higher up in that spot. Listen, Brandon Rewucki's going to join us in just a minute. We will hear from Mike O'Shea coming up a little bit later on after Brandon joins us. But do want to thank some of our sponsors, including Clean Line Plumbing, Heating, and Electrical. Clean Line are your residential and commercial plumbing experts and have been Winnipeg's most trusted plumbers with over 40 years of fast responses, lasting results, and 24/7 emergency services across all of Winnipeg. The great thing is, much like you see the captain there, Adam Lowry, who's got the backs of his teammates, Clean Line has your back and your family's back with 24/7 emergency services around the clock. Remember the number 204-500-2001 for all your plumbing needs, emergency or otherwise. Clean Line has you covered. And if you don't need them in the middle of the night, calling 500-2001, you can schedule an appointment and check them out online at cleanline.ca. Big Bomber game tomorrow night. Manitoba Batteries powering the Winnipeg Blue Bombers this year. And, of course, Winnipeg Sports Talk and WST listeners as the go-to spot for the best in batteries. Now, when you go to Manitoba Battery, you're doing a few things. You're supporting local, shopping with a good, locally owned company. And bottom line is we're Winnipeggers. We like a good deal. You're saving money. Best prices in town, period. Beating the pants off the big box stores. They've also got the best in customer service. So pop by and see them in-store at one of their 2 locations, Logan Avenue or over on Dovercourt Drive. But they'll also bring those batteries to you. Give them a call. Order online at manitobabattery.com. And Manitoba Battery can give you doorstop delivery service as well. For all your battery needs, your local option is the only option. Manitoba Battery for the best prices and service in town. Check them out online today at manitobabattery.com or see them in store. And I'll tell you what, if you have a move, shout out to the movers today out at Rollies that are helping people get from their current home to their new home. This is probably not a great time to be moving. Doing the actual moving. And that's why you lean on experts like Rollies, who've been the most trusted name in moving in Manitoba for over 60 years. Family owned and operated. If you have a move coming up, head on over to their website at rollies.com, click on request an estimate, and then put in the promo code WST for a special discount on moving services and moving supplies. Then let them know when and where you're moving and what needs to be moved, and the friendly staff at Rewucki will turn it around quickly with a great quote and get you locked in for the white glove treatment and service that they've been famous for, now into their 7th decade. For all your moving needs, make it Rowley's Transfer, the most trusted name in the moving game. Find out more online at rowleys.com. All right, let's welcome in Brandon Rewucki from Skates Plates. Rue, what's going on? How are you?
Doing good, staying cool. Hope you guys are doing well. How's it going over there?
Yeah, I'm staying cool as well, though I did pop outside a little while ago, and it is an absolute steamer. We were just giving props to all the people that are working outside today. Can you imagine, like, putting shingles on a roof today? Or
Yeah, well, when you mention it, I actually am getting my deck worked on at the moment right now. So, but I went ahead and I picked up, went to the gas station. So the cooler is full, ice, Gatorade waters,
nice
beverages of all kinds of choices that won't get anybody in trouble. So we're all set over here at the Rewucki household, at least.
What's the project or the operation?
Well, I don't even know if I told you about this. So this was, insurance is great and it's nice and speedy. This was something that took place at the end of last year. I may have played a role in burning a small hole into the deck. Barbecue related incident. Fire extinguishers and hoses were involved. But the damage didn't hit the house, which was nice. So yeah, it's nice. I looked outside. It's nice to not have a 6x6 foot hole in the middle of your deck. So we're moving up. But I can say the Weber grill is no longer allowed on the deck. That's as deep as I can go into it.
As a homeowner, I hear it from Remis all the time. I'm sure you're learning. You learn these lessons, and hopefully you only learn them once and don't repeat them.
Yeah, that's the main thing.
Which is, speaking of learning lessons and not repeating them, I think the San Jose Sharks learned a lesson from the Anaheim Ducks to not be a Pat Verbeek and to get your all-star franchise players signed ASAP, and they got that done. 18-8, but only a 5-year deal. Unrestricted free agency at 26. That to me is the huge difference. I mean, he's getting more percentage of the cap than Crosby or McDavid did without giving up any of his UFA years. Seems like a pretty good deal for the kid and his representatives. What do you think, Brandon?
Yeah, $100 million guaranteed, and then you could hit payday in the prime of your career. I'd say that things are working out pretty well for him. I mean, the funny thing too, though, is, there was some debate about Carlson. Is he going to be worth that? Celebrini's worth it already. Like, there's no debate there. It was really just going to be like, how much would he be willing to potentially give back in a deal? But I'm with you there, where this, like, the exploding cap that we see in the NHL. Players have done what I think a lot of fans had wondered for a long time, is maximize your earning potential, right? And in the past, though, you would sacrifice a good amount of security because 10 years ago, you'd sign a 3-4 year deal and even the best of the best wouldn't be looking at a huge AAV, right? So you were actually taking a big risk either way, but when you sign a 5-year deal, like you mentioned there, you're making so much money with the cap explosion. The Flyers ruined everybody's cap structure on top of it. And you can do really the ultimate double dip. You might even triple dip if you're Celebrini now. Like at 26, what's stopping him from signing 3-4 years? And then at 30, yeah, I'll go for the 7-year contract then. So, I mean, his big props to his representation. Like, he's, at least financially, he never was going to have to worry about it, but he has set himself up very nicely to have a very lucrative career.
I do wonder about just how the Sharks make it all work now that you've got someone so far ahead of schedule making close to the maximum. They added the Nurse deal for the next 4 years. That's over 9. Jacob Trouba over 8. They've got next 4 years, they're paying 17.5 to those two players. But next year, they got to do Will Smith. The following year, they got to do Michael Remis. The following year after that, Ivar Stenberg. Like, Mike Greer has gone from a period of time where the team was an afterthought. They had tons of cap space. They sucked. Now they're getting more competitive. But with all that terrible play, you got high picks that are coming in that are doing big things, none bigger than what Celebrini's done. With that comes very large invoices and potential cap headaches for the Sharks, even though they, they're still in pretty good shape. And obviously these players are mostly still on RFA deals.
Yeah, it's like burning a hole in your deck. Like, now you gotta find a way to figure it out. But I mean, this is the hard part of the rebuild. You know, whenever fans want to do a rebuild, the first few years are, hey, everything's hunky dory here. Like, sure, we'll trade everybody. We got all these picks. We got all these prospects. There's relative little difficulty at the start, but now is what basically determines a successful rebuild or, wandering into the wilderness for another 4 or 5 years. Now, having Celebrini is the ultimate trump card in that. Like, San Jose has a lot of margin for error because he's one of the 3 best forwards on the planet at the moment. But, I mean, if cap troubles do arise here, it's because San Jose is a playoff team. And that's the kind of navigating that I think Mike Greer would be more than happy to do. But at the same token, it's also why, as you mentioned there, everybody said San Jose needs bodies on the back end. Like, we can take whoever we want, but you make 2 questionable moves in one offseason and you're like literally out of nowhere, you're a cap team that's having some trouble trying to find a way to piece everything together. So every little move does ultimately matter here. There are going to be hurdles to overcome for San Jose. Having said that, how many teams would you trade places with? If you're the Sharks, looking at some of the other franchises around the NHL, and I don't think it's more than 10 right now. So if they do have to ship out some spare parts over the next little bit, they could certainly do so. But I'll tell you what, they'll be happy to give Michael Remis $10 million a year. They'll be happy to give Stenberg pretty much the same amount down the road, and it goes on and on and on there. That if their guys hit, yeah, we'll pay you. We'll figure the rest out. But they've got the crown jewel locked up, and that's all that really matters.
Yeah, everything happens once you get the big guy signed. Why not question of the day for Not Autocorp over at Waverly and McGillivray? I've got to ask you this. If Pat Verbeek wasn't such a dummy and had negotiated more in good faith, or at least was able to read the room of what was happening with the cap, and had just accepted, without even negotiating, accepted the ask of Leo Carlsson at $15 million, what do you think this number would be?
15.2, 15.5. Like, honestly,
16?
I don't, 16. Like, I don't think it would be a whole lot higher. It's pretty obvious what Celebrini's management and agents wanted to do. This is the highest number. We don't need tons more, but we need a little bit more. And I don't know if at that point Carlsson would have been the highest paid, but at least in terms of like comparables and age brackets, I think that would have been the move too. And maybe 16 mil is kind of the bridge between the two numbers there. But yeah, the Pat Verbeek, it's funny. He didn't make the offer sheet, and he probably has more enemies across the NHL than a guy like Danny Briere does. Because you're right, like the Carlsson and his representation tried to save Verbeek from himself, and he just can't help the penny pinching ways that maybe have been sent on him by ownership. But yeah, he's that one move, the ripple effects aren't going to stop anytime soon. Cost the Ducks a ton of money. It cost the Sharks a lot of money too, though.
Oh, listen, it's going to cost everyone a lot of money right now because it completely reset the market for the young players. Like, listen, because of the CBA and I think some shrewd negotiating from teams and basically playing the advantage that they have based on how things have been negotiated, they were able to keep the values of these incredibly talented players that are killing it in their early 20s down, kind of artificially held down based on what they're doing because of the restricted nature of free agency and the fact that we really weren't seeing. And I still don't think we're going to see lots of offer sheets, but I'll guarantee you one thing. If Celebrini said, I'm just going to play this year and we'll see what's up, let's talk in the summer, you don't think there would have been a dozen or more teams lining up if they had their 4 first-round picks to say, here's the check, max deal, we want you? Like, I think half the league would have tried to get Macklin Celebrini and would have been more than happy to pay the 4 first-round picks, although the Sharks would have just had to match it, which they would have without a doubt.
That's the thing is, like, it's not even necessarily that teams are going to be at risk of losing their players, but what you've done is you've lost all leverage now, because now teams know that there's going to be several clubs lurking in the weeds anytime somebody's available, just to test it out and see if they can get lucky. So yeah, the days of early 20-year-olds signing sweetheart deals, that's long over. The funny thing, now that I think about it, Huss, is it's funny because the Maple Leafs were the ones that tried to kickstart this trend 7 years ago, however long ago it was, where Matthews, then Marner, then Nylander signed these huge deals, and it's like, don't worry, the cap's gonna go up. Like, we're setting the trend now, but everything's gonna look, this will look like peanuts down the road. And they were kind of right to do so at the time, but obviously nobody.
Yeah, not during the lifetime of any of those contracts.
Yeah, and a pandemic altering the cap for several years put a bit of a dent into that plan. So it's funny that Toronto ends up getting, the brunt end of it, and now every team is like, yeah, you know what, maybe they were right. And now we just gotta lock these guys in before. And you wonder too, like, how often these even get close to that July 1, or if it's just like a year out, the teams are just like, screw it. Like, is it really worth saving $1 million on the cap? And like in the long run, just end the headache, get it done, and we'll figure it out later. I think that's how we see things play out now.
You mentioned the Leafs. So Matthews is making 13.25 this year, 13.25 next year, and then a UFA. At that point, he's 28 right now, so 29, so he'll be 30. Not a bad time to go and, sign a lengthy deal. But, for all the money that teams are spending right now, justifiably on hyper-talented kids in their early 20s, do we think teams will be as eager, like for a guy like Matthews? He's going to be able to command whatever the hell he wants. He's probably going to ask, or could ask for, I'm not sure whether I won't speak for him or his agents, but okay, this is my time. I guess there's no more 8-year deals, but you can sign a 7-year deal at an extension. Will teams still have the stomach to pay that money on the 6th and 7th year of the deal, now that they're having to pay these young kids, if you're lucky enough to have one of them, massive, like, legitimate market value in the 3rd or 4th year of a contract?
I think so. I think I don't think there's a lot of negotiation either. And I think part of it is because the state of the NHL right now, and it's only going to get so much worse if there's another expansion. Like, teams are going to be so desperate and starved for a semblance of high-end talent.
Oh, that's a great point.
And I'm not even saying like the Celebrinis of the world, but I mean, you see what some of if you're a centerman and you know how to hold your stick, I mean, you're going to be getting $7-8 million a year every single offseason moving forward. And the cap's only going to balloon with more teams. There's only going to be more limited opportunity for top 6 roles going to high-end talent players. So, I mean, I've been against, to me, the ultimate scourge of the NHL is to expand further here. I think it's going to be, I don't know. I think it's going to be a bit of a death blow to the league, and I think they're blinded by the big expansion fees. But I don't even think teams hesitate for a second. I think now it's just high-end talent. We lock it up, we get it under contract, and then if we have to move it, we move it. Like we'll figure it out later, but the hard part is getting it. And then once you've got it, I think it's a lot easier to maneuver afterwards.
You bring up a great point about the potential expansion. And I mean, like, I'll also make the argument, regardless of the cap and the numbers, like, I'm not sure there's the talent for another 1, 2, 4 teams. I mean, there's some people that think that this league is going to be at 36 teams in 5 or 6 years. And, I mean, I think we're seeing that there's still a ton of, like, we still have these star players coming in every now and then, but we better hope that hockey continues to be a sport that a lot of young people play and they keep on doing it, because to be honest, like, we talk about the cost of everything right now, the cost of getting these players. Like, I'm not buying stock in minor hockey right now.
Yeah.
As far as I can, certainly at least here in Canada, with the cost of everything. I mean, we're seeing the trends go out. So is this world producing enough elite hockey players to satisfy the number of teams? I don't think the answer is yes. And that makes the Austin Matthews, the Carlsons, the Celebrinis even more valuable than they've ever been before, especially when you think about the rank and file and the AHL level players that are going to be now coming into the league because of, expansion and more opportunity.
Yeah, and like I think there's a reason the other 3 big North American leagues have avoided they dwarf the NHL in terms of popularity and financials and profit, every metric you want to look at. And they have all found a way to resist the allure of increasing their league sizes, right? I mean, it's been 20 plus years essentially since we've seen any of those leagues add a new team. And to me, like, if the NFL could avoid it, the NHL needs to avoid it. If the NFL they could sell teams for 10 billion a year if they wanted. You know what I mean? Like, they could bring in astronomical funds. But I think those leagues and those commissioners and those owners have way more foresight than what we see at the NHL level, where they're just, and maybe it's Bettman driving the bus here, but they are just so blinded by the quick influx of money that they don't think about the long-term feasibility of the sport. And I just don't think it's going to be in a healthy place moving forward. And there's players that are good at, like, a new team coming in, they would fill it with NHL level talent. But the high-end talent that we're talking about there isn't enough. Like, 20 teams are looking for a second-line center right now, let alone 3 or 4 top-line guys all over the place. So, yeah, I'm pretty pessimistic if the league is pushing towards that it's going to be in a much healthier place 6, 7, 8 years down the line. But they seem hell-bent on, in my opinion, just destroying the league that's in a good spot right now.
I know you got to run, but I'll just leave you with this. In addition to that, and I think the reason why they're gung-ho on more expansion is because they're trying to keep up and trying to keep all this money and revenue coming in. That's the one thing that goes straight to the owners. It's not split with the players. And let's face it, like, I don't know how much more they can raise ticket prices. I mean, we're already seeing, people get shut out and making it more a spot that, I would love to go to half the games, but I can only afford to go to 2.
Mm-hmm.
And then you add in the cost to watch the games. I know people are freaking out in the chat the last few days about the increase to Sportsnet Plus. And then, and by the way, all the Wednesday games are on Prime. You got to get that too. Like, at a certain point, the greed, like the quest for all of this revenue is going to, kind of like what's happened, I think, in the minor levels, made it, only a certain amount of people are even able to watch the games on television, never mind, become fans and go to games. And that's not a great long-term outlook for the league.
No. And at some point it just runs dry, right? Like, you can only target the upper middle class for so long for the tickets before your consumer base will just move on somewhere else. Like, and then that's ultimately, I think, what's going to happen. So, I mean, it's not easy, but I think first and foremost, having a better and a bigger TV deal helps to negate some of that, because you look at what those other leagues bring in. The NHL is peanuts compared to that, right? To me, that needs to be the focus as opposed to, well, let's just bring in a couple $1 billion here and there, and the billionaires could add, an extra % to their net worth, but it doesn't solve the overarching existential issues that plague hockey in the NHL right now.
Brandon, great stuff as always. I'll let you get back to biz and your deck and hydrating the people that are doing the work for you. Have a great long weekend, buddy.
Yeah, oh, that's right. Nice. Well, you too, now that I know about it. We'll talk soon. Have a good one.
You were not aware?
No, all good, though. I like this.
What a world we live in. Back in the TSN days, you sure as hell would have known it was a long weekend coming up.
Would have been counting down the days.
Take it easy, dude.
See you guys.
All right, there's Brandon Rewucki. Skates and Plates, wherever you get your favorite pods. He's still cooking all summer long. Hey, got to thank our friends at Princess Auto for their great support of the WST. If you haven't checked out the new flagship store at 500 Panet Road, you are missing out. 105,000 square feet of literally everything you need to complete the projects on your list or start something new. It's all waiting for you at the biggest and best store Princess Auto has ever created. Come hungry, too. Great restaurant there. The Smash Burger is amazing. And if you get there in the morning, highly recommend that breakfast sandwich. 10 out of 10, maybe 11 out of 10 when you consider that it's only $5. But tomorrow night, Princess Auto Stadium is the place to be for Bombers Lions. Starting off at 7 p.m. We're going to talk Bombers with Doug Brown coming up in just a couple of minutes. Of course, it is August long weekend. That means it's time to get out, enjoy the summer. And I don't know if you could have any more enjoyment than you would after a trip and a purchase at Chud's Power Sports, Manitoba's Power Sports Superstore. For over 80 years, if you are thinking about new or used motorcycles, dirt bikes, ATVs, side-by-sides, golf carts, boats or outboard motors, or even RVs or Argos, Chud's Power Sports has it all, as they have for 80 years in the business, with an incredible staff with over 140 years of combined experience waiting for you to take care of you. They got great financing plans, awesome promotions with the biggest dealers in the business. And if you head over to chudspowersports.com, make a point of clicking on that True North Parts link. That'll take you to their sister site with incredible deals on clearance, gear, and accessories. Head on up to Gimli. Corner of Highway 8 and 231 is where you'll find the Chuds gang. See the Derminator and the great people there. They'll take very good care of you. And again, you can shop online right now over at chudspowersports.com. Got to shout out our friend Dr. Terry and the great people at St. Vital Dental Center. As we get closer to the beginning of the school year, many of you are going to want to bang off a visit to the dentist. But if maybe you and your family, looking for a great long-term home, do it like generations of Winnipeggers and Manitobans have by popping in to see Dr. Terry and the great people at St. Vital Dental Center. Awesome new facility at 167 St. Anne's Road. Convenient free parking right behind the building. And a room full of smiling faces to make your smile look even better. They do it all. Cleanings, checkups, all the way to things like dental implants for clients from 6 months to 99 plus. StVitalDental.ca is where you'll find them online. Make an appointment today. Take care of that grill and tell them that the boys from WST sent you. And hey, we got a big weekend coming up. Huge weekend in the Canadian Football League. I mean, most of us will be at the Bomber game tomorrow. If you're not, next best place to be is your local Boston Pizza. I've got an awesome double header on Saturday. Finishing up with the main event this week, Saskatchewan and Edmonton. So make your plans. The AC, especially at the Taylor location, is incredible. The big games, always on the big screens. Ice cold schooners, world famous BP wings, gourmet pizzas. You know where to find them. BP, your local Boston Pizza. And hey, staying at home in your own air conditioned spot, order online at bostonpizza.com. And you'll be able to get the great taste of BP without leaving your house. All right, Remo, we're going to talk to Doug Brown in just a minute on all things Bombers. Andrew Collier is still to come. But let's hear a little bit from Mike O'Shea from yesterday before we get into the conversation with Doug in a couple minutes. This is Mike O'Shea on his team going up against rookie Lions quarterback Caden Salter on Thursday night.
Well, we saw him in the preseason.
Does that help?
Yeah, absolutely. He was pretty proficient. I don't know, 10 of 11 or 9 of 11 or 10 of, I don't know. He was good. Yeah, he played very well. So, I'm sure he's providing them a lot of hope, and we've got to be prepared for that.
Other than that preseason game, if you guys have had a chance to watch any of his film from wherever, what else have you kind of noticed about him? Maybe?
Yeah, the defense does a great job of making sure they show everybody the clips they need to see. Obviously, in university, he was able to be very, very productive, especially in 2023. Ran the ball for over 1,000 yards and passed for almost 3,000. So he is a dual threat quarterback. Seems to be pretty calm too. So
I think you guys have been in similar situations before, playing young quarterbacks making their first start and whatever. Do you have to give a message? Well, not give a message to the team, but is there any danger with that? That maybe taking a guy kind of lately, like, oh, here's this rookie, like we should have a easy time with this guy, or just what do you kind of expect or have seen, I guess?
Yeah, I don't think so. I think the understanding is it's pro football. He's there for a reason. He's obviously getting to play because they believe they can help him win a football game, and we have to treat it as such.
All right, there's Coach O'Shea. So he makes a good point. They did see a bit of him in the preseason. They're going to see him in the regular season. And this is not an easy spot for Salter to come in and make his first start. And I know the fans are going to try to make it as difficult as possible for him tomorrow. Well over 30,000 sold. Still some tickets available, though. So if you don't have them, count yourself in for what should be a steamy, awesome summer night at Princess Auto Stadium tomorrow. Unfortunately, Gerald Broxton will not get a chance to go up against his former team. The Bombers' prized free agent signing, playing on the right side of the offensive line, went down with injury last game, did not return, and will not be dressed tomorrow, which means Micah Vanterpool gets the start at tackle. Here's Coach O'Shea on Vanterpool moving in at a very important spot on the O-line.
When available, he certainly is.
Hey, Reem.
Very versatile, can play multiple spots.
Do I need to put headphones
very
on?
Athletic. Certainly, he'll study and make sure he's going to do the right thing. And he's also a guy who understands that, he can listen too and hear the calls and make sure he's doing those things too, right? So he's good. He's an all-around, very good athlete and versatile player.
How do guys like him stay patient in this league? I mean, you so often see guys, like come up from the States, and very few of them are starting from day one, and for some of them it takes several years and PR stints and this, that, and whatever, and obviously he's kind of an example of that. So just how does a guy like that kind of stay patient and stay with it, I guess? Yeah,
wired the right way. Lots of guys leave. So for the guys that stick around, it's just that it's certainly not, they're not content. But they, I imagine they try to take the emotion out of it and have a background in working hard, right? So, but that patience is important.
All right, so there's Coach O'Shea. Doug's on the road, so we're actually going to be lobbing him a phone call right now. I'm sure Remo's got a great pick of the big guy to join us. But Remo, it's 2. You may as well fire away, and we'll bring Doug on live right now. Listen, it's pretty clear, though. We heard from Jordan Younger yesterday on the program, not pleased with the inconsistency of the defense in their last game against the Calgary Stampeders. It is hopefully, from a Bomber standpoint, hopefully sort of a perfect storm of a rookie QB coming in without the experience and a very inhospitable place to play and a defense that's looking to make a statement and get back into the win column. The Bombers will be heading out to on a bye after this week, and then back to play Ottawa. So listen, if you can pick up wins in the next couple games, put yourself in a pretty good spot towards the end of August, heading into the big back-to-back with the Saskatchewan Roughriders. I think you'll take it, but a short week, but I think a pretty energetic week for the Bombers at practice because they don't like what happened on Friday night. Big Doug Brown, it's Huss on Winnipeg Sports Talk. How are you?
Very well. How are you, my friend? Good to hear from you.
It's great to have you on the program, my friend. Everyone is fired up today. I mean, I'm fine. I think I'm still shaking my head a little bit of what we saw on Friday, but maybe good thing for the Bombers. A short week and getting right back at it against the BC Lions. Listen, before we kind of break down last week's game and this one, just from a player's standpoint, when you have a game that in all aspects you were the second best team, is it a good thing to have a short week and sort of get right back to it? Or would it be better for a team to have a longer week and more practice time to fix some of the stuff that wasn't working the last time out?
Yeah, I mean, it's probably better for the team to have longer to prepare, but from a player standpoint, I mean, the game can't get there soon enough, right? There's no player that hasn't had a very difficult day of film before, and you cannot get to the next game because, I don't know, it just, in your mind, it makes it go away. It makes it disappear when you get to play another football game and hopefully have a better performance, which shouldn't be that hard from three-phase standpoint for this football team. The sooner you can get new film on and be watching and talking about something else, that's how quickly you want to move past it. So unfortunately, these games pop up again in the CFL. You always play the same team again. So you're going to see more film of another team no matter what you do, no matter how you tried to hide from it. But it's always good to have a short week for sure as a player.
Doug, enjoyed some of your post-game analysis along with the fellows on OB last week. And I mean, there's so many different weird places to go. I guess I'll just ask you this. I mean, they were, as I mentioned, the second best team offensively, defensively, and special teams. If you were doing a power poll of your concerns for the Winnipeg Blue Bombers, what's at the top of the list?
Wow, top of the, I mean, that's just it, right? It was, it's not often when you win games that you have, all three phases contribute. Like usually two out of three phases is enough. You get offensive, defense, or offense and special teams, you can win a game. And exactly what you said, this was a game where, defensively, offensively, and on special teams, it was, a lot of regret to go around and a lot of disappointment, I'd say. I think I'd be most concerned with the way things are going offensively with this football team. I mean, that was why we asked Brady the question in the post-game show about what, and it wasn't it wasn't trying to provoke or promote a response. It was an honest question because I had no idea. I really wanted to know. Like, you usually hope by the end of the first third of the season, you get a feel for how this team wants to hang their hat offensively and defensively. Whether it can be, from back in my day, we want to stop the run all the time. We're like, hey, we're going to take away the run. We're going to get after people with our pass rush. That's just what it didn't always work. It didn't always go out that way, but that was our identity as a football team. And, offensively, I have no idea. What is their foundation? What they, I think I know what they want to be, but then you get confused by the play calling and situationally what's going on. So I would say my biggest concern in the ranking of the three phases right now has to be with what's going on offensively, because it's I think the offensive coordinator Tommy Conchel is he's a square peg and he's trying to fit into a round hole, and it's not working out so well at the moment.
Yeah, I mean, listen, they've got a lot invested in Brady Oliveira, and listen, his body of work speaks for itself. And I didn't have as much issue. To be honest, I wasn't as surprised as maybe some were that Brady wasn't getting the touches after that big 45-yard scamper that he had. I mean, they were almost playing in prevent at that point. I don't even think there was anyone close to him for 25 yards. A couple receivers got in front of a guy and he scampered in. But I mean, after that, Doug, you're still down by a significant margin. It's in the fourth quarter. You got to throw. And here's the thing. We're probably having a different conversation if Drew Brown doesn't go picks on the first play of back-to-back series. There's just not a lot of plays to be made when your defense is on the field.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. I mean, situationally, this team hasn't always been in a situation where they can run first, right? They've been playing catch-up a lot. They've needed a lot of big yardage and a lot of big chunks to get back into football games. It was the same against Ottawa, when we were like, what the heck is going on here? And all of a sudden they had to go hurry up and they had to really push the football down the field. So situationally, it hasn't been a great scenario for Brady Oliveira to get the ball a lot in late in the game. But sometimes, when you get evidence of, him being able to rip off an explosive play like that, you just got to feed the flame and do something that is unconventional and not necessarily on script to catch your opponent thinking. And, full credit to Tommy Condell. He's essentially got a new quarterback. He's trying to, get on the same page. I think what we've seen a lot from Drew Brown the last two games, where theoretically, I mean, it wouldn't have been out of the realm of possibility for him to have thrown 10 interceptions the last 2 weeks, okay? We only saw, 4 or 5 materialize, but there were a lot of footballs up for grab. But I think we're getting to the point now, I think he survived early just on some of that new team, good vibes that you can thrive off of. But I think right now we're seeing what Drew missed in training camp in terms of the little nuances of, hey, his receiver, on a dig route or a stick route, or, where's he going to break when he reads this and he sees the defender with inside leverage? Is he going to, it's getting on the same page with your personnel in that respect. And I think a lot of these situations we've seen with him are just communication and lack of familiarity with this new roster of guys. Obviously, Nick Dembski hasn't been having a problem, but he was a guy that was around last time Drew Brown was here.
Yeah, no, it's well said. And listen, Drew's come over. I mean, familiar with Condell, getting right into it. And I mean, listen, the Bombers, if we go back to the Ottawa game, you sort of mentioned it. I mean, there was 4 dropped interceptions, and any one of those probably end the game. I mean, the Bombers were incredibly fortunate to do it. Now, listen, when you're down, I think from a quarterback's perspective, you got to take some more chances, and that certainly happened in both of those games. They didn't get burned against Ottawa. They did against Calgary. But my main concern, Doug, goes more to the early portions of games. The Bombers offensively have had stinker starts, and then the defense hasn't started well. So, I mean, it's really compounded things. But when we're talking about this identity of a team, the one thing we haven't seen is the Bombers be able to really establish Brady and that running game right from the get-go of the first quarter. And I don't know if there could be anything that would help a quarterback more than know that you are consistently getting 6-7 yards on the ground with your all-pro running back.
Yeah, no, I totally agree with you. It's been confounding and frustrating. Some of the great Bomber teams that we've been lucky enough to witness, they could tell you what they were going to do, and they would still, be able to do it. You could just watch it happen. And, everybody in the building knew exactly what play was going to be called and who was going to be getting the rock and were they going to be just doing an inside zone in between the tackles or what? And you just couldn't stop it, and things have definitely changed. Teams, I don't know. It's almost like they've got a playbook for, hey, take the run game away from the Winnipeg Blue Bombers initially, load up the box, force them into a passing situation. They'll abandon the run, kind of panic your offensive coordinator and get them in chase mode, and the playbook goes out the window, right? So I totally agree. They need to start a lot stronger. Their game planning, a lot of coaches we've seen coordinators come in and they have a scripted game plan for their opponents. And, Calgary certainly did and it worked very well against Winnipeg for how they started that game. And they just dug a hole. So it's all three phases, I think, coming out of the gates, having a better blueprint and attack plan, I think, for how they want to play against their opponent, and really putting the pressure on the players to be responsible for executing that and being accountable to one another. Because, everything changes. If you want to be a run-dominant and run-heavy football team, then you have to set the table in the first quarter. You can't just choose to do it in the fourth, right? It has to happen throughout the game. And that's when then you're in a position where you can really lean on your running game and you can close it out. And that's what this team, that's what's so confounding for us, is that this team used to be masters of that. If they were anywhere near close to their opponents in the fourth quarter, it was a done deal with the Winnipeg Blue Bombers because of their ability to take the ball away defensively and to pound the rock offensively and just eliminate that play clock. So it's just a far cry from that tone that we saw many, many years ago.
Well, it's funny you mentioned about taking over in the fourth quarter and just pounding the rock. I mean, we're not too far removed from the win in Hamilton, where Zach got hurt, Bo got hurt, and it ended up being basically a very vanilla game. But I mean, the Bombers at the end of that football game had Elgersma in. He had the training wheels on. They weren't letting him really rip it. And I think they went 7 straight runs to Brady when everyone in the building knew what was happening, and Hamilton couldn't stop it. And at that point, it kind of felt like, okay, this is Blue Bomber football. This is owning the fourth quarter. And obviously they got the win by 1 point. I'm not sure what has been different early on in games, but I mean, just from your perspective as a guy that lived on that line of scrimmage, is the running game issues more scheming, or do we have concerns about the offensive line? And even more so this week going into the game against BC with Broxton out and Vanderpool now starting.
Yeah, it's an excellent call. Some of the review Derek Taylor and myself have done. I mean, I've been watching. It was my concerns for how the defense was playing against the run. I wasn't even looking offensively. I was like, man, we got to, that first game against Calgary when Dedrick Mills went off, I was just clamoring to get my hands on a tight line copy so I could break down and see what was going on. And we actually caught Serezna on a couple bad cues and so on and so forth. But offensively, what is the best? I mean, I think you can always use more creativity to a run game. I remember in games I played in my own experience, some of the most difficult teams to defend the run against always were able to add a wrinkle to that run game. All of a sudden they're creating another gap by having another edge player come out. And it's just little changes like that, looks that you hadn't seen and prepared for all week. Those were always the toughest teams. I mean, teams obviously that were committed to running the ball, but when they were able to put something out on the field that we hadn't seen in film prior to, that could really throw guys off because you're so studied and practiced on what your expectations are and what you're prepared for. And so I think that's probably a big deal. I think creativity is there. I think you can break it up and share the blame all the way around. Creativity by the offensive coordinator. I don't think the offensive line is playing up to expectations. They do at times, and you see the result of that. But I think it's really a combination of that and a heavy box that they're playing against initially as well. People know they can push this team into being one-dimensional, and that's kind of what Tommy Condell's safe place is as well, right? And that's where he's more comfortable calling the majority. We've broken down the play calls. Granted, we haven't broken them down situationally for what the score's been, but that run to play a passing ratio hasn't really changed since he's come to Winnipeg.
Doug, the other side of the football to me is really interesting because if there's one thing I think if we looked at last year's Blue Bomber team and said that, you'd like them to be able to improve, it would be pressure on the quarterback. I mean, they were notoriously rushing 3 guys. Willie wasn't really a threat to sack. He was more trying to get position and stand up and knock passes down, which he does as well as any. This year, with the addition of Serezna, Willie's been a monster again in the backfield. Serezna's had some big games. We saw the rookie Gatkoth look really good last week. And yet at times this defense is absolutely getting shredded right now. Like if you're Jordan Younger, he spoke a lot to inconsistency, where at times they've been good, but other times they've just had breakdowns. From your perspective, knowing a thing or two about defense in the 3-down game, where does it start for the Blue Bombers to get that consistency and be the defense that we've seen in glimpses at times, but also have spent way too many plays looking for guys go 50, 60, 70 yards to the house?
Yeah, it's funny. Every week when you're a player, you get your defensive game plan for the week, and there'd probably be a book with, I don't know, maybe 20 pages in it in terms of, in addition to what you already do foundationally as a defense. So you'd have 20 plays of exotic blitzes and different looks and different fronts and how we're going to play certain situations, and then by the end of the week, that 20 pages ends up being sometimes 4. Just because, the coaches, hey, we're only going to call stuff that we're 100%, we know that everybody's on the same page and everyone understands what is happening, the picture that's developing in front of them. They know how to read and react to it and how to attack. And it was just simplification. And the only consistent theme I keep hearing coming out of, what's going on with the defense is just guys haven't picked it up. It's too complicated. I keep hearing this over and over and over again, is that the level of complication is elite. It's beyond the grasp of a lot of guys in that unit. A lot of them aren't familiar. And it's confounding too, because it's not new, right? Like what Jordan Younger as a defensive coordinator is doing right now with his defense out there. There are some new players, but not that many, and so that then makes you look to the next layer, and that's potentially having the quarterback of your defense. When you have injury situations and you got injury concerns and you have new guys filling in, you don't get that same level of confidence and coordination, I think, from guys that have less experience, and they don't command that same voice. It's the same for a defensive lineman up front. If we get a new middle linebacker, it's kind of a trickle down effect, right? You get someone back there that hesitates just for a moment. You can call that, in my days, it was Joe Lomondon and Barron Simpson, and now it would be the Adam Big Hill effect. But the same goes on in the back end, in the secondary, when you have problems with your safety, because that's really the quarterback that calls everything. So I think it's a combination of all three things: inconsistency, complexity, and not having the experience at the key spot when it comes to coordinating where people should be on any given play and any given look.
Did the Bombers miss Reddick Crandy more than maybe many people thought last week?
Yeah, that's certainly what it looked like, right? You just don't normally see coverage busts like that. And it's one thing, that's something that coaches always try to instill in their players. Number one, you're going to get beat physically sometimes, because as it turns out, your opponent gets paid as well, and they have people yelling at them, and they have responsibilities and expectations. So you're not always going to win your one-on-one or your physical contest, but to make those kind of glaring mistakes that are not understanding, at this point, you're third of the way through the football season, and guys there's still a level of confusion there about who has who on certain route patterns and concepts that they're facing right now. And that, I think signifies a larger problem in terms of the leadership and the complexity of what they're doing out there. So it's, at this point in the season, the offense is going to win sometimes, but for them to win uncontested like that is that's a tough pill to swallow at this point in the season.
Doug, there's also the concern of really slow starts this year. And someone just mentioned in chat, and I actually just looked it up. The Toronto game at home is the only game this season the Bombers have been winning at halftime. And listen, at halftime, you'd like to see some good corrections made, and I'm sure It has happened in some games. I mean, they are 4-3. But like, what goes into a good start? And I mean, your opinion, is something missing right now with just the way this team is prepared and ready to go?
Yeah, every year it's. I think last year was it the third quarter last year? It was just a graveyard of futility. It was unbelievable. Like every week, we would just be like, "Holy smokes! It's been 7 games and they've scored 3 points in the third quarter," and it's baffling. A lot of times these things you can't rhyme or reason. They're inexplicable. You can't figure out why a football team. I think initially. Game planning has a lot, getting the players excited about, what they're going to go out there do and execute, and having that confidence. They have so many holdover veteran players that lead this football team. I can't say it's not, it's because they're not excited enough about. I think they can be dealt some better edges with their game plan, things that the coordinators think they can take advantage of based on what they've seen previously in prior weeks on film. I think they can do a better job there, but it's really hard to, because it's weird. It's so weird. I totally agree with you. Every year it's something different. There's a Bermuda Triangle for football accomplishment in some stanza of every single game. Last year was the third quarter. This year, it's really how they've been starting. So I'm sure that's something they're continually working on, and hopefully we'll see that addressed tomorrow night.
Yeah, I would have loved to have seen some of those the good defensive adjustments at halftime last week, and then boom, 69 to the house right out of the gate. Not exactly what you'd planned, but enough of last week. It's on to the next. I think the Bombers have a great opportunity to really right the ship over these next 3 weeks. BC, rookie quarterback, first start tomorrow, bye week, and then Ottawa. I think if they can get to 6-3 at the midway point of the season, they'll put them in a very good spot. But there is work to do. They were incredibly fortunate to beat Ottawa, who still is awaiting that first win. But BC's been really struggling. Just a quick thought on the opponents. Buck Pierce's Lions with just 1 win, Nathan Rourke out, and a rookie QB coming into the loudest stadium in the Canadian Football League trying to get a win.
Yeah, and these are trap games, right? I mean, we talked about all the reasons why they should have easily won in Ottawa against a winless football team, and it almost got away from them, right? So you have to be real careful not to understand, it's going to be a totally different feel, a totally different context of how the matchups are going to be. And honestly, with football teams, the first time you play each other, that's where you have to be most wary of. And that's where you really have to come out of the gate and set the tone, because matchups are such a huge thing. It's the record goes out the window, and it's more so how do your guys up front line up and mesh against the opposition, and who can really impose their will. So I agree with you. The next few weeks, they have to get up to that 6-win total, because after that, things can get harder in a hurry if you look at the schedule and what opponents lie in waiting for the Winnipeg Blue Bombers. And there's been a lot of talk that this is absolutely a must-win game for the Winnipeg Blue Bombers. With the kind of crowds they get at home, they really have to make the most of that and take advantage of those situations. Crowds like that, the fan base need to be rewarded by the execution on the football field, and obviously playing at home as well. That is probably one of the biggest head scratchers this season is their record actually at home is driving me wild right now, just because that was, if you want to talk about identities of football team, that was literally the backbone of every Winnipeg football team the last 6 or 7 years here, is just how dominant and how difficult they were to beat at home. So I think they need to take the steps to reestablish that, and not think it's just going to be handed over to them because of the fact that, they're facing a rookie quarterback. He's going to have a lot of experience, obviously, with the players on his football team, and desperate teams are very dangerous always to play against. So they should be able to get a W tomorrow night, but they're definitely we're going to have to see an entirely new look approach from all 3 phases if they're going to pull this off.
Doug Brown is our guest. He is a part of the 680 CJOB Winnipeg Blue Bomber broadcast, the always entertaining pregame show. And I will say, Doug, I think the most well-fed pregame show in the league. What did you guys plan the menu as to what you're going to be scarfing down, or is it just whatever all of the everyone shows up at the table with?
We're very superstitious, right? So once we eat something, and it all ties into our stomachs. So once we eat something, if the Bombers win, then we have to keep eating that. And it started off that way with hot dogs, and then we found the more volume of hot dogs we would ingest, the better the football team would play. So we have all these causation relationships with food. And we've moved on to barbecue right now, and that's been over the last few years that Tortuga's feast for us in pregame has shown this football team well, but we're going to need that menu changed up a little bit as well. Maybe go away from the ribs because that didn't work out well last time. We're going to have to do something different, but we're very superstitious with our food that we take in that pregame show. So, but we have a lot of fun doing it.
You and DT might need to go a little Joey Chestnut and try and get the hot dog bump from last year. Listen, we're looking forward to the one tomorrow. Always look forward to the coverage that you and the CJOB team have in and around Bomber games. Folks, if you get out to the game early, head out to the tailgate zone outside the stadium. Pop by, say hi to Doug and Derek. And, of course, make sure you're tuned into the fellas on your way into the game. Doug, thanks so much for the time, pal. Enjoy the game and have a great long weekend.
Thank you, my friend Huss. Thanks for having me on, buddy. We'll talk to you soon.
Appreciate it. There's Doug Brown. Tomorrow, I guess 5:30, they'll get going from the tailgate area for the 680 CJOB Blue Bomber pregame show. Man, just looking at that barbecue and talking about hot dogs, is reminding me that we got a big Goldeyes homestand coming up. Speaking of great sports and great food, Andrew Collier is going to join us in just a moment. Do want to thank our friends at Royal Sports. They're great support of WST. Listen, we're enjoying this beautiful, beautiful summer. I got this Bomber shirt on right now. This one, new era, exclusive, only at Royal. Pick that up. They've got amazing gear. So if you need to get some blue before the big game tomorrow night, head down to Royal. Getting ready for Jet season. You want a Vigo Bjork jersey? They got that. All the new NFL merch coming in. It is so much more than the best in licensed merchandise. Soccer, softball, baseball, tennis, the best selection of running shoes you'll find in town by so many amazing brands. And, of course, they got the bike shop in the back. Tons of bikes, cool ones you won't find anywhere else. E-bikes as well. And with hockey season just around the corner, the biggest hockey department in town. It's all waiting for you at Royal Sports, 750 Pembina Highway. Give them a follow on Instagram at Royal Sports Winnipeg for the latest merchandise drops and sale information. Our friends at Travel Manitoba are ready for the long weekend. We're actually going to do a really cool segment tomorrow on some of the private camping options. We'll find out more about Lilac Resort. So stay tuned tomorrow for that. If you are, though, planning your next adventure, whether it be this weekend, this summer, or anytime, start with Travel Manitoba. Whether you're searching for road trip inspiration, hidden gems, or the latest festivals and events, everything you need is waiting at travelmanitoba.com. Looking for ideas on the go? Follow along on social media at Travel Manitoba for real-time inspiration, local tips, and can't-miss experiences from across the province. Or if you prefer a personal touch, stop by the Visitor Information Center at The Forks in Winnipeg. All right, we will get to our picks for the track. Assiniboia Downs is back tonight, finishing off the week. And then, of course, Derby Monday. And it's perfect to have the biggest day of racing on Monday because that's the one day the fish are off on a big 7-game homestand starting on Friday night with the alternate identity night. And the general manager of the Manitoba Mosquitoes, as they will appear Friday night, joins us now, Andrew Collier. Cash, what's going on? How are you?
Hey, I'm good. Thanks for having me on.
Man, this is a big week. You know, like we were kind of lamenting the schedule in July. You know, if you're someone that gets away on weekends, It's pretty tough to see the fish, but that is changing just in time for the long weekend. We got beautiful summer weather, and we got the boys coming back for a big, big homestand, starting with one of, if not the most anticipated promo night of the year.
Yeah, so looking forward to this. We started talking about this in October, so to finally have the game on Friday, so looking forward to it. So much planning has gone into this, and so many people have done a ton of work on this, and we're just looking forward to seeing the players on the field in those Manitoba Mosquito jerseys and hats, and we're going to have a ton of merch available Friday night. We've already sold a lot, but we ordered a whole bunch of T-shirts, so anybody who hasn't got in on the Manitoba Mosquito merch, you'll be able to do it Friday.
Remo, pop on camera for a minute. Remo was rocking his Manitoba Mosquitoes hat today. For the folks that haven't seen it or maybe turned it on and were wondering what was going on, here we have it, the beautiful new era Manitoba Mosquitoes things. Now, we did our game, our patio party out at the ballpark, and by the time the 5th or 6th inning had happened, there were probably a dozen people that had already been to the pro shop and picked up picked up merch. I got to ask you, you've been doing this a long time. Have you ever had reaction to a promotion or merchandise like you have had since you announced the Mosquitoes night and everything that you guys have put together? It seems like the demand has been unprecedented.
Yeah, not for a one-day, one theme game event. Obviously, when we launched the new logo, merchandise sales were good, but for a one-day thing, I don't think we've ever seen anything like this.
Obviously, get into the pro shop, and I would suggest getting there early, so you've got the pick of the litter, because, as I say, we were at the Mosquitoes on August 1st, just on Friday night. So at this point, when the stuff's gone, it's gone.
Yeah, this is it. This will probably be the last order we make, and we tried to order quite a bit, and if we end up with T-shirts left over at the end of the night, we'll keep selling them the next days after. But yeah, this is probably going to be our last order.
Hey, listen, just before we get to the rest of the homestand and the upcoming games and where the team's at, I want to play a clip. You guys got a really nice shout out last night from Jamie Campbell on the Jays broadcast when they were hitting into this rain delay. Remo, if you can, let's play this. This is from last night's Blue Jays Sportsnet broadcast with a little love for the fish right here in the Peg.
Before we get started here, a huge thanks to the Winnipeg Goldeyes, and I can tell you now, based on my experience there, Blue Cross Park, right in the heart of Winnipeg, is a spectacular baseball venue. Thanks to Andrew Collier, the general manager of the club. Got to spend some time in the broadcast booth with the play-by-play man, Trevor Curl. What a great place to go see a ball game. I'm not sure if it's raining in Winnipeg. Clearly it is in Washington.
Cool jersey, too.
Isn't that nice?
Yeah.
With my favorite number 27 on it as well.
So nice little plug for the squad there. Jamie obviously had a good time. I guess he came out here for a day for the during the All-Star break.
Yeah, he did a little road trip with his son. I guess he does this every year, goes to different ballparks around Canada. On the Friday night, he went to a game in Thunder Bay. They have a Northwoods College Wood Bat League team there, saw the game there. And then Sunday morning, the 12th, he drove here and caught a game with his son and a couple of family members that live in Winnipeg. I had offered him a suite, offered him the chance to throw the opening pitch. He said, no, I just want to come and watch baseball. And I said, will you do a couple of innings with Trevor? He said, sure. I completely forgot that he was the play-by-play guy for 5 years. It's been so long he's been doing the pre and post that I forgot he did play-by-play. So he and Trevor got along very well, and it was a lot of fun hearing him on the radio.
I know. Listen, we want to put that out, and I told you, I said, hey, we're gonna fire this up, and shout out to Remis for getting the clip. Do you know that, like, we were kind of saying, hey, this is really cool. We want to kind of show off. We do a lot of stuff, work with you. You know that clip has over 100,000 views already since last night?
That's incredible. Jason Young, our communications manager, was telling me the same thing. And I said, there's probably 100,000 people out there saying, who is Andrew Collier?
Hey, real ones know. Real ones know. The WSTers know. Let's get to, I mean, listen, this has been sort of an up and down season for the team. And listen, we all know baseball, 100 games, it is a grind. I remember, starting off, getting swept by Milwaukee, coming back about a week and a half later to home, sweeping Milwaukee. And it's just been sort of back and forth, but the team's battled back to 500. Give us a little idea of the landscape right now, of the division, the challenge for the playoffs, and where this team needs to go in the final, 38 games to be playing playoff games at Blue Cross Park.
Yeah, the West is going to be a dogfight right to the end. Kansas City, I think you can easily pencil them into one of the top 4 spots. They're in first right now. We're 5 behind them, but just a week ago, I think we were 8.5 back. So to be 5 back of KC right now, we're in 4th spot, a game out of 3rd, game behind Fargo. Just the last 4 games has come together. Took 2 out of 3 from Fargo, very good team. Have taken 2 of the first 3 from Kansas City, an excellent team. And to beat the hitting lineup that they have last night, 3-1, keep them to 1 run. Luke Boyd goes 8 innings. And then we just signed a couple rookie pitchers the other day. Logan puts in a rookie pitcher who's never played pro ball. He was pitching in the Coastal Plains League last week. Comes in, his first 3 pitches were 95, 95, 96, struck the guy out. And then got the next 2 guys out for his first professional save. It was something to see and quite a moment for him, I'm sure.
You got to love it when the young unknown kids come in and start throwing absolute gas and getting guys out. I mean, that really is one of the neat things about this league. I mean, a lot of players will come and go, but there is sometimes somewhat of the unknown. You got numbers, you know what the person's done before. Sometimes they play professionally, sometimes not. But a few of those hidden gems can really do a lot, especially at this point in the season, to really push things in the direction that you need to go as a team.
For sure. And it's not like the old days where there was 32 rounds in the baseball draft. These 2 guys that we just signed easily would have been drafted at some point, because the draft is so short now. There's so many good players that miss out, that just fall below that line. And these are 2 guys that Logan had his eye on, and as soon as they weren't drafted, he said, hey, we need some pitching help in the bullpen. Come and join us. And yeah, by his first appearance, I'm glad Logan got him.
So it's time to finish up, get the boys back home, and get on a heater at home. It's certainly hot outside. Hopefully the home team can be that way. Let's get into this upcoming homestand, because as I mentioned, the team starting on Friday is going to be playing 6 of the next 7 days. The one day that you and the team will have off is the holiday Monday. But it's all starting off with the Manitoba Mosquitoes night. Friday shaping up to be a big one at the ballpark to kick off the series.
Yeah, Manitoba Mosquito night, Friday night, 7 o'clock, fireworks after the game. And then we play Saturday at 6, Sunday at 1. After the game Saturday, we're showing the movie Barbie on the big screen. People can stay after the game, sit out on the grass and watch a movie. And then, like you said, Monday off. And then Tuesday, we have a doubleheader against Chicago because a game was rained out in Chicago. So we got to make that game up on Monday. So doubleheader make the game up on Tuesday, starting at 5:30, doubleheader. And then Wednesday, Thursday, both at 6:30.
We've got how does baseball bingo work? And by the way, it is a double header. If you want a little 2-for-1, 5:30 on Tuesday. And will the bingo be for both games? Fill us in on how that works.
It will start in the first game and go as long as it takes for somebody to have a bingo. Yeah, not only a double header on Tuesday, but it's also our $2 food and beverage specials. So check that out on our website. But yeah, baseball bingo It's basically you get a card and it has a bunch of different plays on it, whether it's a single, home run, did a train go by in the third inning, things like that, and you check them off as the game goes on.
You know, I got to tell you, we're lucky enough. I was at one of the Tuesday games recently, and had some of the hot dogs. And those, to be honest, for the record, outside of the elite new Goldie dog, which you have to get at the far end, the foot long, as you have graciously brought forth for the people. The $2 junior dogs is as good of a concession deal as I think you will find anywhere. And those dogs are awesome.
It's a great deal. And you talk about the footlongs. I'm as superstitious as Doug Brown. And if I eat something one game and we win, then that will continue. Our record at home has been pretty decent this year. I've eaten a lot of footlong hot dogs this year. I'm so glad we added those to the menu.
I will be hitting up one of those on the weekend, and then Tuesday, it's going to be Glizzy Fest for a doubleheader. I'm not going to take many of them on. Folks, get your tickets for the games. Again, Friday, Manitoba Mosquito Nights. I'd get there early if you want to get merch, just so you've got the best selection, because once it's gone, it is gone. And then Saturday night, that's the movie afterwards, the family day, Sunday afternoon, and then kicking off another series on Tuesday with that doubleheader right through until Thursday. Let's get hot. It's a good time to do it. Goldeyes 500 now and up and away for the rest of the season. Andrew, great having you on the program. Good luck tomorrow, or I should say Friday, and have a great long weekend, and may it be filled with many wins and celebrations down at Blue Cross Park for the home team.
Awesome. Look forward to seeing you at the park. Thanks for having me on.
Talk to you soon. There's Andrew Collier of the Winnipeg Goldeyes. All right, we're going to get Patty in here in just a second. Do want to mention that our friends at Aikens Lake Wilderness Lodge are having an incredible season. They did have a schedule change and had a couple of prime dates in August just come open. So if you are thinking about maybe making the most of the next month of August, hit up aikenslake.com for more information on if either of those spots are still available in the middle of the month and prime part of the season. And tell Pitt, if you're talking to him, that you heard me talking about it on WST. It'll hook you up with 10% off that trip. Aikens, I'm going to be out there in September. I cannot wait to finish up the fishing season there. World-class fishing, even more world-class hospitality. You can be on the water in about 2 hours from the city of Winnipeg. Check them out online and all their socials at Aikens Lake for more info. And, of course, booking now well into the 2027 fishing season. Breezy Bend Golf Report. We're going to dive into some golf with Pat in just a minute for the Rocket Mortgage, which is happening coming up in Detroit this weekend. But we've also got the Golf Manitoba Seniors Championship going on right now, and it has been it's been Fanning and Doyle making things happen at the going out at the Breezy. Believe final round today, so we'll keep an eye on that. Let's pull up the leaderboard right now and see how the fan man, it's incredible the career that Todd Fanning has had. Did some, absolutely incredible things as an amateur. And, he was in the AM right in the mix earlier this year. He's right now had a real solid even par round. He's 5 under par with 3 holes to go, 4-shot lead over his fellow Niagara member, Jay Doyle, who is -1. And those two guys are sort of running away with it. Mike Walker from St. B in 3rd right now at 5th. But congratulations to everyone. And looks like, barring a disaster, going to be another Manitoba title for the fan man himself, Todd Fanning. Hey, if you are thinking about, and then of course it's being held at beautiful Breezy Bend. If you want more information on the Bend or membership for 2027, check them out online at breezybend.ca or give a call at 895-7205. All right, we're going to bring in Patty. First up, though, it is so hot outside. I'm thirsty. Let's give a big cheers to our friends at Winnipeg's favorite local brewery, Little Brown Jug.
You train day in and day out, learning new techniques, approaching new concepts, and living out the thrill of achieving your goals. Building a craft beer is no different. While you spend your hours on the ice, we spend ours here, brewing our trademark beer. Again, again, and again. Here's to pushing the status quo and challenging ourselves to build something memorable. 1919 by Little Brown Jug.
All right, lots to get to with our pal Pat Gregoire from Coolbet. I should mention to everyone as we bring Patty in here that a week today, August 5th, your last chance qualifier for the finals on August 12th, where somebody is going. The last man standing is going to be going representing Canada at a big Euro poker event in Estonia at Coolbet HQ, the Coolbet Open. August 5th, 8 p.m., the final qualifier for the WST Poker Series. So if you haven't yet booked your ticket to August 12th, make sure to join us 8 p.m. on August 5th. And Patty, I got a couple calls from guys that have already qualified over the last couple weeks. Everyone's fired up. And I got to tell you, this trip just, it's such an unbelievable prize. We did the Costa Rica one, but this one, as you mentioned, you've been there before. This is almost taking it to the next level. Certainly for a Coolbet event, it's the big one of the calendar.
It really is. And, obviously the folks from Coolbet super fired up for this. I'm fired up. Ange is fired up. But the other thing is that, this attracts people from all over. Like other poker folks from the area come in, from the surrounding countries. We've got people from Chile and Peru coming in as well. All different Coolbetters from all over. But there's also pro poker players and pretty competitive poker players that circle this on their calendar each and every year. We're talking about people that were just in Vegas at the World Series of Poker finals, trying to get to the main table, that caliber of player. But that's also the great thing about this. There's every sort of caliber of player. You've got your your rookies, you've got your intermediate players, you got pros, and yes, there's the main events that you'll get an automatic qualifier for, but there's other tournaments going on. There's other events. You got the poker golf on Saturday, which is bar none my favorite part of the entire week. So much going on. The city of Talon is beautiful that time of year. So Haas, I know you've already punched your ticket. You're guaranteed to go. There's one more spot on the line for WST. So if you haven't, this literally, it's called the last chance tournament for a reason, because if you don't get in, you're going to have to get a very expensive buy-in to get into the tournament. So you could still technically get in, but to play your way in for a free entry, that will be your only chance to do so.
So 8 p.m. Winnipeg time. Next Wednesday is the qualifier, and the following Wednesday, 8 p.m. is when we play for the trip to Talon. All right, Patty. I just should mention a couple. While we're doing these lines before we get to the golf, don't forget, everyone, get your picks in for the CFL Weekly Pick'em. We're all chasing Ted Lai 2, who has 145 points. The winner at the end of the season is going to be a guest of ours out at the Grey Cup with airfare, hotel, and tickets to the game. The spreads for the game, this is interesting. The Bomber game keeps moving. I have seen as high as 7.5. Coolbet has Bombers at 7 right now. And that is as good of a number as I think we'll see on Winnipeg with Salter starting, a rookie QB. We've seen that number creep up. It was 6.5 when Hammer and I did CFL 110 earlier this week, which was a good time to do that for our exclusive. We'll get to that in just a minute. Alouettes laying 7 on the road in Ottawa. I'm kind of surprised. When we did CFL 110, Calgary was a 5.5 point spread. That's actually gone down to 4.5 right now. And the main event, man, this game is going to be good. Saskatchewan at Edmonton Friday night, rematch of the classic these two teams played last Thursday. Edmonton, 1.5 point favorites. But we do have an exclusive from CFL 110, and this is it. Bombers -6.5. So we cut that half point, which, I mean, hopefully they can win by a double digits, but that is always key, going from 6.5 to 7. We've got Calgary at 5.5, and then Saskatchewan at +1.5. That's got a real nice boost all the way up to +650. That is in the exclusives right now. But again, make sure to get your picks in. 7:30, it's kickoff right here in the Peg tomorrow at Princess Auto Stadium. So get those picks in over in the Cool Bet League. And if you haven't played yet, you're just hearing about this for the first time, you do have some catching up to do for the season-long prize. But the winner's getting $50 in their Cool Bet account each and every week. So it's not too late to do it. And Pat, just before we get to golf, I have been telling all of the crew, guys that were like, damn, I missed out at the start. People need to be ready, and it's great that we've got this awesome CFL pick'em going. I cannot wait for you guys to roll out the NFL pick'em this year. I think this could be our biggest, most well participated in and exciting season-long promo yet.
Yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun. We have not announced a prize, but you better believe it will be a great prize. There will be weekly prizes. Maybe you, myself, Jake, I don't know if Remo and Connor want to get involved in something. Maybe we put some stakes on the line for a WST Cool Bet prizing, whatever that may be.
Yes, 100%.
Yeah, we'll have to do something for some bragging rights for the winner, and more importantly, something for the loser of the pool. We'll have to do something too.
That's right. So keep your eye out for that. It is all coming up now. Patty, let's get to golf. Listen, we'll roll this out. Rocket Classic. They've changed the course quite a bit, which was amazing. I mean, a couple of the short par 5s the guys were eating up are now long par 4s. I think it's playing as a par 70. This will be significantly different. One of the other things that's different about the Rocket Classic as opposed to previous years is the field. Now, this was basically a B-level tour event. Doesn't look that way this week. No Rory or Scotty, but Cam Young is the favorite at 10-1. We've got Xander Schauffele and Chris Gotterup both at 16-1. That's down from 18. There's obviously been some run on those two guys. And then the guy that I want your thoughts on, fourth lowest odds in a field with major champions, Wyndham Clark. You got Hideki Matsuyama, Knapp, Henley, Cantlay, and there's Jackson Koiven, fresh off his third PGA tournament, staring down Scotty Scheffler and winning. This kid seems like a phenomenon. We've seen a lot of them, but they don't win like this early. Everyone's talking about him when you talk PGA Tour right now.
And how could you not? The kid's an absolute stud. He's a cold-blooded killer. Look at how beautiful his swing is. He crushes the ball. He can putt well. You know, he's the full package. Like, insert the meme of, you know, the boyfriend looking at the other girl walking by. That's Koiven, and Ludwig Aberg's over my shoulder saying, hey, I thought I was your young and upcoming golfer. Well, I mean, a lot of people kind of thought that Ludwig Aberg would be that type of player. And, you know, he's got a couple of wins on tour, but it certainly didn't come this fast. I think we should pump the brakes a little bit on him because, you know, it was the 3M Open. He did have Scotty nipping at his heels. I think he's going to be as advertised. But as we know, we've seen guys win early on in their careers and then not do it again. Although I feel like this kid is certainly different. He's going to have his highs and lows. Listen, do I think he's going to be successful? Am I going to be featuring him on my card a lot? Absolutely. This is not the week to do it. For him to go back-to-back would just be absolutely unheard of. If you want to get a piece of him on a top 20, a top 10, by all means, I would totally sign off for that. Or if we wanted to put him on our parlay, that's great. But I just don't see a world where he's able to go back-to-back, winning 2 events in his first 4, like 50% of his career starts he's got victories on. But no doubt, this is a guy we're going to be talking for a very long time.
So let's get to it. I mean, I'll tell you what my card is.
Sure.
I mean, I thought long and hard about going with Koiven, but I sort of with you. I mean, listen, if we get burned and he goes in and wins, at 18-1 for his second win in his fourth start. Say goodbye to 18s, and we'll be holding our nose for him. But I'm looking elsewhere now. Cam Young is tempting. I mean, obviously 10-1 still with a guy in this field like that. But I do love Xander, and I love it even more with what our boy Mayo's cooked up. I was on him at 18, but best number you'll find anywhere. Go to the exclusives right near our WST parlay. Xander Schauffele boosted to plus 2250. And that number looks even better now as the numbers drop from 18 to 16. So I'm all over that one. Hopefully we can get a winner for the Mayo people. The other guy that I really like, though, of this group, Pat, is Decky. I think Hideki, his form has been great. He played last week. He had a real strong final round, a nice push, good finish. Hideki Matsuyama's game is in a position where he can go toe-to-toe with any of these other studs that are there. And at 25-1, I kind of like the value on him more than a Siwoo Kim or a Wyndham Clark or even a Jackson Koiven. So those are the two guys that I've sort of set my eyes on. If you go down the list, I mean, obviously I've always got time for Akshay Bhatia. My guy Johnny Kiefer is 80-1. You need to be a big hitter at this one. But I really sort of focus on those guys. I am considering a little flyer on Jackson Suber at 66-1, which is the same number that we won on Tom Kim at the Scottish Open. Mm-hmm. But definitely Xander, even more so with the Mayo boost, and Hideki at 25 is sort of the guys that I'm really focusing on, as well as a couple darts. Where are you at?
Yeah, it's funny you mentioned Decky. That would be a no-brainer for me as well. I've got him on my card, 28-1. You talk about the recent form. That's been great. But he's also had some success here as well, T13 last year as well. And we know when Decky starts to heat up and a win comes or a close to a victory comes, he strings a few together. This is a guy that, like, when it gets hot, it stays hot. I think that this could be the perfect tournament for him to get his first win since the World Hero Challenge in December. He has not won yet this year, and it's not because he hasn't been playing great. Sure, he had a little bit of a dip there, but he's trending on the right way up. And you could argue, like, skill-wise, he is one of the best golfers in this tournament for sure. Chris Goddard, 18-1. I think he fits the course. I think he's one of the best golfers in this entire tournament. So the talent's there, and I think it just, it is a good course fit. Although he's never really played good here. He's never finished inside the top 25, but I think you and myself and everyone here can admit that Chris Goddard, even 12 months ago, is a completely different golfer than he is today. You mentioned Bhatia, 33-1. I think he fits the course really well here. Actually crazy to know this. He is ranked first in strokes gained with his putter. A guy that for years, struggled with the flat stick. He moves to the broom putter. The guy can't miss right now. It's actually some of his ball striking and off the tee numbers that are kind of pulling him down. And I don't even want to say pull him down, but this is just a fact of the matter is we haven't seen a ton of consistency from him. But we're getting close now, Huss, for two storylines that we got to watch now that all the majors are done. Playoffs. Some guys that are going to be, in jeopardy for making playoffs, which I don't believe is Akshay Bhatia. But the other thing is President's Cup. I know it's not the Ryder Cup, and the Americans don't really value the tournament maybe as much as some of the other nations do. But the younger guys, the guys that are trying to make that Ryder Cup, they want to get on the President's Cup. And Akshay Bhatia is going to be one of those bubble guys as a captain's pick. Koiven's going to take a spot now. You better believe that he's going to jump on there. That means guys like Bhatia and some of these other younger guys, the Goddard's of the world, although Goddard's probably on the team.
I think he's a
via
lock.
Points.
Yeah.
With this now, right? So, but all these other young guys, they're in jeopardy. So I think Bhatia needs to have a strong finish if he wants to end up on that President's Cup team. And you mentioned another one. I don't have it on my card. These are the three that I have. The other one, when I was looking a little bit further down the board, was your boy Johnny Kiefer, because this is a Kiefer club.
Yeah, I'm going to put a 10 or something on him. He's 80-1. As far as Sunday Sweat Club, and I know we got to get you out here, what do you think about Xander, Hideki. And I know we don't think he's going to win, but I love Koivu for a top 20.
Yes, I need a piece of him. And if that's the way we get it, let's do it. I love that.
Let's do that. Okay, so we're going to go top 20s for Xander Schauffele, top 20 for Jackson Koivu, who's even money if you just want to bet that him, and then Hideki at plus 135. I think it'll get us a pretty nice number for three guys that'll have real good chances to be there, and hopefully we can bang out another winner. I guess that'd be two in just 2 and 4 weeks. So we'll get that up. That'll be in the combo cards. You can also get the Greggy Golf Special, which is up right now. Let's see here. We've got, it's Akshay, Hideki, Cam Young, and Goddard all to make the cut. I'll ride with you on that. Nice boost to plus 215. And there is a super boost as well.
The super boost is a really good number.
Is it ever? Cam Young and Schauffele to be top 20. That's from 2-1 to plus 307. So a couple nice ones waiting for you in the combo cards at the top of the page right now. And we will add the Sunday Sweat Club. Jackson Koivu, Xander Schauffele, Hideki Matsuyama. Let's get it. Patty, have a great one, man. Thanks for jumping in as always.
I appreciate it as always. And we got to start thinking, I'll get Jake on the case too, how we can think of a winner for the NFL pool, but also a punishment for the loser.
I love it. I love it. Consider us in. I can't wait. This is going to be a lot of fun. Have a great one, pal. Good long weekend too.
Take care, fellas. Thanks
All
again.
Right. We'll hook up with Jake tomorrow before we get going with CFL. But again, you got one day to get your picks in the Coolbet League for our CFL WST Pick'em contest on the spot. Remo, how are you doing in the Pick'em contest, by the way?
I think I'm just outside the top 10. I nailed 4 for 4 correct, but hitting the correct score spot on been a challenge. I hit one. I hit a couple early, so you get those bonus points, but I was happy that I picked the games all right. Like, felt bad picking against the Bombers, but, they're on a short week. They hadn't practiced.
I have a hard time ever picking against the Bombers.
I thought they were in a tough spot, and I picked them to lose 30-27, so, I thought it was going to be close. I got their score almost right. They scored 30, but, they gave up 52. You're not going to win giving up 52 points, so I picked...
I got the 10. I got the 10 for the Bombers with 30 points.
Nice.
What I didn't think was that Calgary was going to put up a 50 burger. So 10 points for that. But yeah, Tedley, I think that is, I know who that is. He's at 145, Skins 140, Rob Pepper at 135, Big Hands and D Carpy and Izzy and Bam Bams, who I believe is bombing, at 130. Schnitzy, the top WST contestant, at 125, along with Great Par and Cold Friesen, who I think won last week. And then we got a dogfight here. You and I are tied with 110.
Yes.
There's the Germinator from Chuds. He's at 105, and then Connor is at 100. So again, we're close. I got bailed out last week. I thought I was going to go 0 for 4. I got the 5 points for Montreal. They did win that game, but I got bailed out by the 10 points for getting the Bomber score correct, even though they didn't win. So lots of fun. Grey Cup experience for first place. A $500 bonus for second for the season-long contest. $250 for third. Coolbet prize packs for 4 and 5. And it's all open. Get your week 9 picks in right now. Remo, we got live racing tonight at Assiniboia Downs.
Yes.
How did your operation go yesterday?
We haven't talked, but it was a successful night for me at the track last night, Huss. I got refunded. No, I didn't get refunded on that one. I hit one exacta. My $2 exacta box paid, so $4 bet paid $4.40 in race 1. That's $4. So I won 40 cents there. But I hit a winner in race 4. $4 on horse 1 to win. Paid $46.
Woo! What horse was that?
Valerie Valesky. When I made the wager, it was 4-1, but the line closed at 10-1, and it beat out Smooching, who I think you were on Smooching, weren't you?
I was on Smooching.
I said I like Smooching, but not as much as I like Valerie Valesky, and Valesky came on top of Smooching.
I that exacta that we were both on. I had 4 on it, so I got 880, and then I did win race number 5 on Madeline to the max. Unfortunately, a lot of other people like Madeline to the max, and it closed at 3-2. So only won 5-1. So a little bit of work to be done. That probably means, like with your 46er, I think you've probably taken the lead again. For sure you have.
We'll have to calculate it after. I was up, like $16 yesterday. But if you like Smooching, Hess, there's a chance to get on Smoochero in race 4. So I don't know if it's the same owner. Gonna have to look into that one. But I do have my picks in for tonight. I did hit that long shot winner yesterday. I'm pumped. So back at it, and I'm on. We have to do a bit extra because we missed last week. I'm on race 1, 2, 3, 5, 6, 7.
You know what? I'm playing a little bit of catch up here. So if you can maybe just go through your picks, and then I will hit mine.
Okay,
once we're done.
Here's mine as I bring them up. I'll be watching on YouTube this evening, getting ready for the Derby Monday. Well, I'm excited to have Darren on.
Yes,
talk about
Double
that.
D coming on Friday.
Okay, race 1, I'm taking horse 6 to win, my anticipation. And race 2, I've got horse 8 to win, Kate's Princess. Del Vecchio's the favorite in that one, a legendary horse at Assiniboia Downs, Del Vecchio. But I'm on Kate's Princess. And race 3, I've got an exacta box 2-5. This is you don't see this too often, where the AI smart pick is Vision of Candy paying 20-1. I don't see that often, so I'm gonna go with AI, but also take the big favorite. My kids said no.
I don't know if there's something up with the with the AI or whatever, because Vision of Candy is by far the longest shot in the field based on what they've set. Number 1 in the AI smart picks, and it's saying it has a 98.6% chance of winning.
Yeah, I gotta look into
I
that.
may get burned. I put $5 on it to win. Now I'm expecting that not to be 20-1. I wouldn't be surprised if it's 1-1 or something by the end if they don't know. But this is a stakes race, and it looks like a bunch of these horses. I guess My Kids Said No, which is the favorite, is here. And this must be ahead of the Derby, because this horse has just had Gulfstream in May, raced at Prairie Meadows in a $100,000 race in July, and is now here for its first race at Assiniboia Downs. Anyways, I'll let you continue there, buddy.
What else am I on? I'm on race 4. No, race 4 is the one I'm not on. I got 5, 6, and 7. 5, I have horse 9 to win. This is my long shot one, Classico. I mean, I like this smart picks win percentage, Huss. Still got a decent 12.1% there. And who's my race 6? I got a couple trifecta boxes. Race 6, 4, 5, and 8. This is just the program. I'm picking chalk here. Program selection, AI smart picks. Beckett's Best, Gallant Oak. Nay Nay is the favorite. Like, obviously, a horse named Nay Nay would be the favorite here at the Downs. And race 7, 3, 4, 6, try. That's also program selection, AI smart picks. In a big race, too, is a 9-horse race. Charlie's Prize, He's My Uncle, and Frosted Mug. I gotta love a good Frosted Mug. Oh, no. Do I have to pick Frosted Mug? 6. No. Judge Oliver. I didn't take Frossenbeck. Judge Oliver. Sorry.
All right. Let's see here. I have, just going back to my selections, my transactions. Race 2, I'm going 4-6-8 triactor box, big ticket. You know we love Del Vecchio. Got to get
yes.
Del Vecchio in on that. And Kate's Princess, so a 4-6-8. I mentioned in race 3, we're going to just bet number 2, Vision of Candy to win. In race number 4, I'm going back with another triactor box. Trying to hit a big one here. You mentioned Smoocheroo. We're getting Smoocheroo. We're going number 5, Get My Drift. And number 8, Foothills Boulevard. So that's what I'm cooking up. And then in race number 5, we're going number 7 to win, Designated Hitter. I like that one. I was thinking about Freeze 'em at 30-1 is actually a little bit tempting. And then race 6. Race 6 is a big one. I will go Gallant Oak. And I remember this horse, number 1, Ponderoso at Keys. He was in, didn't really have any big wins last year. That one won't be seeing you. I'll be seeing you. And I do like Free Maker, who is a long one. You know what? We're going to do a, Quinella? Exacta box, Gallant Oak, and Free Maker. It should be a great night at the track, a steamy one. And then, folks, we're going Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday next week, but Monday is the big day. That is Derby Day. We're going to lay it all out on Friday when Double D Darren Dunn pops by and joins the program.
Yes, going to have the big rundown announcing who's in the race. And it's a good part of the Monday of a long weekend. I will be tuning in and making sure to get my wagers down for that one. So, again, busy sports weekend with the Bomber game Thursday, Goldeyes, Manitoba Mosquito Night. Got my hat on. That's Friday, and they're home all weekend. And then you got the Derby, and also Sea Bears as well. Home Friday. And their last game of the regular season Sunday, and we'll see if they end up hosting a home playoff game.
By the way, some questions in the chat. If we do have a tie at the end of the pick'em season, and we need to figure out who's getting first, who's getting second, Jake has a great idea. We will absolutely do a special marble race for that.
Wow.
It can just be head-to-head, a head-to-head marble race. 2 great prizes. But, there is the possibility that if no one runs away, you could have 2, you could have 3. So we will do it live on the program. That'll be a great way to do it. Everyone can watch it. The stakes will be high. But listen, don't worry about being a tie yet. Get up in the standings. Get your picks in. And then we can have more realistic discussions. We got to catch Ted Lai too. And some of us have quite a bit of work to be done. But as we know, there's a lot that can change in a matter of a couple of weeks. We'll talk about that. Jake's going to jump on the program tomorrow. And as I say, Remo, do you have any ideas? Do you have any thoughts already about what we should do for both a winner and a loser for a head-to-head competition with you, me, Connor, Jake, Pat for the NFL season?
Oh, man. No, I don't have any.
What would be a good humiliation?
You have to, do people go somewhere in the middle of a street and hold up a sign that say I suck at
my picks suck?
My picks suck. Is that what people do now? We don't have any Waffle Houses here at the 24-hour challenge where you
could maybe do
get
something
less time.
Like that at Denny's, I think, is open. Just on that, I know we got to go. Listen, the pandemic sucked for multiple reasons, but the landscape of 24-hour food options pre and post pandemic is stark. Like, I mean, I grew up my entire life, death, taxes, and a cheese nip at Sal's at 3 a.m. after the bar. You could always count on that. Now they close at 10 or 11 o'clock. I guess with Skip, you can always get a burger or whatever delivered to you, but there was something about being able to go after the bar with a bunch of people out and have fun. Did you ever go to the old Perkins on Pembina, Remis? Back in the day when you were just cutting your teeth as a young adult?
Wait, which Perkins? The one at Polo?
No, there was one on Pembina, which like right by Bishop. And like, you know, and back then there was Coyotes, there was whatever Scandals was afterward. That place, that might have been the busiest time of the entire week, like 3:30 in the morning after the bar on like Thursday, Friday, Saturday.
I did a lot of, we did Sal's, and then like Papa George's in Osborne was always busy. Ken's restaurant, I went there a couple times. Super late. But yeah, I'm not really out that late anymore. Like my friends play in a band that was at the Toad, and I just show up for the first set now and leave before anyone gets there. I'm like, I gotta wake up early and drive to the beach, so I can't stick around too late anymore. So a bit of a different lifestyle for me. But yeah, I used to go out, find that late night eats, and as you said, like I had some friends over and we did a massive skip the dishes order on like McDonald's, and we're eating McDonald's, which was kind of cool, I guess, because I had, you know, all these new technologies that weren't around when I was going out a lot.
Yeah, my problem is that post-pandemic, and like, I mean, we've had this conversation before. Cooking for one is just the worst. Like, it's a waste of time. You go to every single time I say, oh, okay, maybe I should actually set foot in a grocery store. Mm-hmm. I go in, I buy stuff, and then, oh, this is bad, this is bad, this is bad. I mean, it's not cheaper to order skip all the time, but it might actually work out better because you're not wasting all that stuff. So I'm still struggling with that.
Well, I'll give you that. If you go to Costco, what they have, the DoorDash coupons, you got like $100 for $80. That's a pretty good deal.
That's a good tip.
I do that. That's a good tip. And then they have like deals on top of that. I combined my Amazon Prime to get Dash Pass. Like you have the Skip Plus or whatever. Do you have that?
Yeah. Oh yeah. I got Skip Plus. I definitely.
So I have the DoorDash like Plus or whatever there because it just comes free with Amazon, which I'll also be using that to watch NHL hockey coming up this year. So it does come in handy.
Oh, Jake actually has a great
he said
a great idea.
999 challenge at a Jays game or a Goldeyes game. What is that? 9 beers, 9 hot dogs, 9 innings.
9 innings. I have thought about attempting to do that. There's no chance I'd be able to do it. And the thing is, like those $2 dogs. Like, say you tried to do that at the game, Goldeyes game, or say you wanted to go on Tuesday when dogs are $2. The issue, I mean, it's all local beers and it's all 16-ounce beers too. So, I mean, that would be almost impossible. I would love, though, to see. We should maybe try and do that one of those Tuesdays. See who can legitimately try and make the run to try to do the 999 challenge and make it happen. But it would be hilarious to see one of us have to do it at a Goldeyes or a Jays game next year for whoever is whoever gets the booby prize in our head-to-head NFL pick'em.
Don't they have like an official 999 challenge, like food items at some ballparks, but they give you these beers that are like sample size beers?
Yeah, they're like 6-ounce beers and mini hot dogs.
So here's the article from MLB.com. This is too mainstream. This used to be like an underground thing that you do, and then you got the Phillies offering this, where it would probably get really warm especially with this temperature here in Winnipeg today. If you got a package,
that's the one thing I do. Yeah, like, do you really want to order all 9 beers? I mean, that's insane.
No, that's
you need to have some sort of an operation. Like, you'd probably get the dogs. That wouldn't be a big deal. But anyways, we've got some good ideas. And yes, Denny's the Denny's by the airport is open. Humpty's. Where is Humpty's? There's a Humpty's on the perimeter.
That's the one.
That's the only one. That's 20. I guess that's kind of like a truck stop, so that makes sense. I mean, unless you live in like Oak Bluff, I don't know who's like cruising out to Humpty's on the perimeter at 2:30 in the morning for something to eat. But
I remember Humpty's. That's where you went after you played hockey or like had hockey practice early morning at Oak Bluff. You hit Humpty's after. It's what time? It closes at 8:30. It says every day 8:30. So yeah, 24-hour restaurants.
Menu. I don't know if I want to work that much. Yes, Matt Hyman. Oh, I love when we do the Palladium. Coyotes. I heard that Coyotes in Calgary is shutting down. You want to talk about sign of the times? They're just nuking the bar. They're focusing on events, probably Stampede, other things around there. I was shocked when I heard that. Anyways, we got to get the pot up, folks. This was fun today. Tomorrow, big game day edition of WST before Bombers and Lions. Farhan Lalji is going to join us. We'll get the latest on this Caden Salter and what the situation the Lions have gotten themselves in. Mike McIntyre is going to jump on the program. We'll have Ed Tate join us from Princess Auto Stadium as well. Jake jump on the program, and we'll also have a really interesting chat about some of the private campgrounds in our Travel Manitoba segment and find out about everything going on at Lilac Resort. I was there once as part of a wrestling event doing some commentary, and I was blown away. I had no idea what was there, what was available. So we're going to find out about that and some of the private campgrounds as we get into August. That is going to do it for us, though, gang. Have a great one tonight. We'll look forward to seeing you tomorrow for a big game day edition. I am going to go do my CFL picks for the Cool Bet contest. You should do the same if you haven't already. For Michael Remis, I'm Andrew Paterson. Thanks to Doug Brown, Andrew Collier, Brandon Rewucki, Pat Gregoire, all of our sponsors, of course, and all of you for making us a part of your day. Have a great one tonight. Stay cool. We'll catch you tomorrow for a game day edition of WST.
Oh, my God! Oh! Shut it down! Let's go home!
Thanks for tuning in to Winnipeg Sports
All of our sponsors,
Talk
of course.
Daily. Make sure to subscribe on YouTube and your favorite podcast feed at winnipegsportstalk.com.